The Department of Homeland Security now admits that border walls are a good idea. They released a full memo on this thing. At the conclusion of each one of these subsections, they tell us that, physical barriers are pretty good, pretty useful devices. This is basically what the scene looks like. This is people waiting to get on board the train to make their way to the border. And so situation is pretty precarious. This comes over from Breitbart showing us that a memo says, Wall's work that was conducted in June of 2017 is when this memo came out. It was finally obtained by the Immigration Reform Law Institute via a public records request. Now, according to the memo, the internal memo examined 25 areas of the border, made serious recommendations, and it contradicts Joe Biden's claims that border walls are a waste of money, right? An internal border policy memo says, basically what we need to do. Border wall system, they say, makes practical and financial sense. And a border wall and security of the border might be good in preventing some problems here in the United States. Here's what Fox was reporting Border Patrol agents are hearing.
U.S. officials are warning agents to watch out for IEDs, improvised explosive devices. This now, according to an internal memo obtained by Fox Business, says the Mexican military seized 10 explosives at the border. The memo reads in part, quote, agents should exercise extreme caution and should report any possible armed subjects approaching the border with possible explosive devices.
Oh, cool. So things are getting spicy there. We also see this is what one of the train looks like. This is exclusive video. Fox sources capture tens of thousands of migrants attempting to catch a train. They're in Mexico, 3 hours south of one area bound for the U.S. border where Border Patrol agents are already overwhelmed. We saw that there were 10,000 people who came across on a single day. This is looking like it is going to continue. A lot of people. Okay, so you see it is a lot of people and they're, maybe getting on the train and heading over. This is what the Border Patrol said about it. So back from 2017, Office of the Inspector General from DHS saying here, right, this is a memo for the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. It says we're initiating the second in our series of audits regarding U.S. Customs and Border Patrols. Here, Trump signed an executive order. It directed the executive departments and agencies to secure the border using all lawful means. The objective of this audit is to evaluate the analyze select phase of the acquisition of the barrier. We'll contact your office for review. Here is the story. Now we'll fly through this, right? There's a bunch of these little areas, but you can see here west of Tecate, A2A, the description here. It's this location in San Diego, California. It covers this range, right? You don't want to see how that they are splicing and dicing the land, but what I'm guessing is it says, west of this land location, south of this, north of this, east of that, and west of that, right? Whatever. So they just create this little area from this river to that range to this, and it ends at this location. Okay. The persistent impedance requirement is this. And they say, look, due to the extremely limited tolerance to depth of intrusion, physical barrier and supporting infrastructure is required to establish acceptable levels of effective control. All right. That's that. Here are alternatives. If you don't want to do that, a physical barrier and infrastructure, you could do a pedestrian fence. You could do a bollard design with anti-climb capabilities. 3-year cost is this amount. How much money? Same thing here. A vehicle fence, not intended to deter illegal crossings, but you could do vehicle impedance. Estimated cost for that would be that, probably cheaper. Additional agents, you could put this many people at this location, and salary, benefits, equipment, blah, blah, blah. Total for that is that. Now you could also do sensors. That costs this each year. That covers 70 square feet. Gotta get a lot of those. Total cost for those is whatever. Estimated total 3-year cost for cameras for detection, identification. Mobile surveillance radars. How much is that cost? For detection, identification, classification, and tracking. And, the best technology combination, which would be cameras and sensor deployed over this many miles. Total 3-year cost would be whatever. It's a lot. That might be a photo too. Recommendation on this sector saying here a pedestrian fence is most cost effective, provides adequate persistent impedance. Vehicle fence much less cost effective and doesn't actually stop people. Sensors Sensors and cameras do not provide any resistance, and agents are only highly cost ineffective to provide any impedance in this location. So build a fence, train the agents, and so on. Here is one photo where they tell us what some of the vegetation looks like, right? So this is in the Tucson sector in Arizona. E2A, NACO West alternatives. So pedestrian fence, vehicle fence, agents, sensors, cameras, best technology, that's redacted. But here, you see this. The NACO station, Tucson sector, they're highlighting its dense vegetation. So, a lot of people, I don't know, can hide in there or tuck stuff in there. Sensors and cameras do not provide, same type of analysis there. Here's the terrain, seconds to minutes to respond before people can blend into the adjacent community, right? So people just run right across in seconds or minutes. They just hop right across. Due to close physical proximity between U.S. and Mexico, a physical barrier is required to deter and slow illegal cross-border activity. Like, you have to have a fence. There's nothing else to do, okay? Sensors are fine, but, there's nothing else. Vehicle fence, one option, additional agents and sensors. So what is the Democrat solution to this? Here we got another photo, a sector called K2A, view to the east, border highway loop, Rio Grande River, Levee Road. Here's a view of the chain link fence, continuously cut by smuggling organizations. Not a surprise. And that's, probably where the fentanyl's coming in, right through those chain link fences. Here's some more photos. Levee Road, Rio Grande Rivers that way, dense brush area to the north side. Same thing there. Looks like another angle of that photo. So again, due to the close proximity, physical barrier is required. Same thing in El Paso, right? More photos here. Here is what it looks like. This is La Casita, Chihuahua, Mexico. This is an urban area in Mexico. This side is Mexico. This side is the United States. We've got the border there. They say this is a dense pecan orchard, which is not one of my favorite nuts, and dense brush to the north of the border. So you can see a lot to secure, not a lot of securing happening. Another regional shot. Here's a dam. This is Mexico. This is the United States. Same thing here. That's the river. Mexico, U.S. International bridge. Conclusions, pedestrian fence. You need the physical barriers. All right, so that's the full report, my friends, and it makes a lot of sense, but are they going to do anything about it? Probably not, right? There is a lot of fraud happening there as well. Bill Melugin said, there has been little acknowledgement of the mass asylum fraud that's also taking place. Here's what you'll see. People just tear up documents on the ground, including their humanitarian visas they use to get to the border. Then they mix in their cartel wristbands. Migrants will tell you on camera that they're here for economic opportunity, but that does not qualify them for asylum. But false narrative exists and masses of people are asylum seekers. Are some of them? Yeah. The overwhelming majority are not. They're coming for economic reasons, and they're filing fraudulent asylum claims, which is clogging the system and making it more difficult for even legitimate asylum seekers. These are some of the photos that Bill Melugin has taken over the years. So yeah, I mean, it's totally broken. Homeland Security, they know, and the Office of the Inspector General knows what the right solution is. Got to build walls, got to build a fence. Mayorkas knows that. Biden knows that, but they're comfortable with this happening at the border because this is, I think, their plan for the future of America.